Hello, TEM fans. This is Porter Robinson, and I just want to say thank you so much for listening to my music, and I hope to see you in person soon. My name is Porter Robinson. I'm 28 years old. I am an electronic music producer and songwriter. And let's see, how would I describe myself? With my music, I try to take a feeling that I can identify, whether it's something beautiful or nostalgic and sad, and I like to try to crystallize it into something that's super vivid and super clear. I think the best way maybe to get to know me would be to listen to the album Nurture and maybe the previous album before that, Worlds too. Yeah.
It's not easy, must not be.
I could honestly, I think, fill a book with the number of different things that I did that helped me get back on track creatively. But the best way I can describe the problem is this. I was really fused to this idea, me needing to be a musician who could make my own favorite songs naturally, right? That's kind of what I do. And so at the first moment that I really started to struggle, and I'm not even sure why I began struggling. I could probably analyze that more too. But the way I reacted to it was the problem. I was I just got super panicked, and I got really worried that, what if I can't make music anymore? What if I can't make music anymore? Ruminating on this idea over and over and over. And that caused me to effectively shut myself in and try to work obsessively. And that was really bad for me. I needed to be out exploring the world and taking in new influences. So that was one of the big errors. But I also think that, with every bad experience, any experience that causes you to suffer, I do have to feel grateful for it too. If I could go back in time, I don't think I would change anything that happened, because if I hadn't struggled so much with writing music, then an album like Nurture wouldn't exist. And so I think everything is just the way it's supposed to be. Well, one of the very first things I knew I wanted to show with Nurture was this appreciation of reality. One of the very first ideas would happen after Worlds, and my previous album, Worlds, was very fictional feeling. It felt like anime and books and video games and things like that. I knew I wanted to sort of make the real life version of something like that, something that instead of finding beauty in escapism, finds beauty in the moment and in the present. And I definitely didn't have the words for it back then. I just knew I wanted it to feel up close, was the very first thing I said. So it's interesting because I think that sort of combines nicely with this idea of recovery. Because I think one of the things that people learn about when they're recovering from something, whether it's a mental health struggle or an addiction, in my case, this creative block and depression and things like that, you learn about mindfulness and one of the things that you learn about mindfulness is that there's this infinite number of things that you can take in at any given moment. There are things all around you that you just have to kind of be aware of and sense. And so when I describe this to people, I always encourage them to go outside and try to notice something that if you sent 1 million people out there with the same task, wouldn't pick the same thing as you. Go try and find something that only you would see, and really study it, get closer and really consider it. And for me, it just brings me a lot of peace. It brings me a really good feeling. And I think if somebody said this to me 3 or 4 years ago, I'd be like, this sounds really crazy. This sounds really weird and strange. But to me, it's brought me a lot of joy and peace, and it combines nicely, I think, with these two ideas of finding reality as beautiful as it is and recovering from something difficult. I think those two ideas are connected. So I think Nurture is somewhere in the center of that.
Wait again, I will be much better than holding on to sand. I will be much better than. Look at the sky, still here.
My favorite song on Nurture is it might be kind of unexpected for some people because it's in a way it's the one that sounds the least like Nurture, but it's the song Musician. It makes me so happy. I think kind of introspective, and you feel a lot of worry in the lyrics and sort of low confidence in a way, and trying to piece together and cobble together this hope so that I can make something good again. And Musician is the song where for some reason, it was written towards the end of the album, it was almost like this is the celebration of getting better. And it's just like, it's almost an ignorant song in that it's just like, to me it just sounds like pure bliss. And it's a total pop song. It's like the simplest pop song on the album. But I just love it. When I listen to it, it's like, it's weird. It's the happy pop song, but it's the one that makes me cry when I listen to it. So I love Musician a lot. Also the last song, Trying to Feel Alive, I feel like it's underrated. I do.
Look at the sky, I'm still here. I'll be
So there's a few stories that stick out to me from when I was developing and writing Nurture because, you know, anytime I had a success really stuck out to me because I was so convinced I would never make music again, right? The main kind of lead synth sound of Something Comforting, that was like the only thing I wrote in all of 2015 that I think I ended up keeping. And I remember writing that, and I have this thing where when I write something I really like, I'll just like pace back and forth in the room and be like, oh my God, like this is everything, like this is it. So Something Comforting, I had that, and I didn't end up finishing that song until like I think 2019. So I had no idea of the long journey that was ahead of me at the time. Also, I remember maybe the second song I made real progress on was Look at the Sky, and something I just remember was I was in a studio in Tokyo and I was just like screaming into this microphone, just anything, trying to come up with like a chorus idea. And when I came up with that Look at the Sky lyric and that melody, it was the same thing. I was like so stunned. And then my manager actually flew to Japan the next day and I played it for him. He was super jet lagged and he was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And then the next morning I knew I would play it for him one more time. And he was like, dude, this is a hit. Like this is, oh my God. And so I look back on those memories really fondly. I think the number one thing that I want for Nurture is for this album to like find the people who need to hear it. I don't think I really write music that's meant for like the pop charts where it's like, you know, billions and billions of people will love it. I think it's more like there's a smaller number of people who will love it a lot. And that's how like a lot of my favorite art and music gets made. I like stuff that's made for the enthusiasts, you know? So the only thing that I can hope for when I'm trying to do an interview like this and spread the message around an album and, you know, market it and post about it, it's like I just want this to get to the people who will love it as much as I love my own favorite albums. And knowing that that's not the biggest group of people ever, but I just really want those people to have it because I just know how much value my own favorite albums have brought to me. Like if I think about Discovery by Daft Punk, I know I have the vinyl like upstairs, and just knowing it's there brings me joy. So that's what I hope for Nurture. I haven't been to Thailand too many times, but the time I went most recently, I was like, oh my God, I need to come back here when I have more than like a couple of days. I performed, I think in 2018. And I had such a great time. I ate so much food and I was like exploring everywhere, and I just was like thinking, man, I want to spend a month here. So I hope I can like continue to play in Thailand and have excuses to come back. Yeah, to my audience in Thailand, I would just want to say like thank you for following me and for being interested in my music, and I hope I can come back soon and play, you know, another real show. Something I really enjoy about going to some place like Thailand where I haven't been very much is that when I look out into the crowd, I feel like if I'm at a festival or something, I feel like there's a lot of people here who probably don't know that much about me, so like let's see if I can convince them. I really enjoy that challenge. And then there's always this other group of people who's usually closer to the stage. I'm like, oh, I can tell these people like know my songs and are excited to hear them. And so you know, if you're watching this, maybe that's you. And yeah, just want to see you again.
Look at the sky, still here. I'll be alive next to you. I can make something good, something good. Look at the sky, still here. I'll be alive next to you. I can make something good, something